Nicola Berti, just back from a long injury layoff, scored an opportunist goal in the 35th minute. Until Berti struck, Salzburg, the poor relations of the finalists, looked anything but underdogs against one of Europe's most powerful clubs. Inter will miss Bianchi, who got booked in the 10th minute. The Italian pulled down Franz Agner after the interval to earn a second yellow card and an expulsion from the Danish referee. Salzburg continued to attack Inter's goalmouth for the elusive goal that would have squared the ledger, but their efforts were to no avail. Final score, Salzburg 0, Inter 1.
Strength and physique, they play that sort of football, and the Italians don't like playing Austrian teams because they find them very hard to subdue. They're very strong physically and also mentally. So I don't think this tie is over by any means yet, because you know, Inter will find that they won't give up Austria.
Is there some rivalry among Italians and Austrians?
There used to be in the old days, but it's gone now. It's sort of fizzled out. I think Salzburg's main problem is with the players that are not playing today. I think Jurkovic might be playing, actually, because I was looking at the lineup. But the player they'll be missing is Pfeifenberger in the middle of the central.
Jurkovic is playing with an injection, I believe. The two captains and the referee are on the park. The referee is Jim McCluskey of Scotland. Let's go now to Martin Tyler.
Football in its finery here. San Siro, always a splendid sight, even in the teeming rain. Inter tonight without the suspended Alessandro Bianchi. He was sent off in Austria, of course, but Fontelan, who was suspended from that game, is available tonight. So much riding on the two Dutchmen, Bergkamp and Jonk, who've not inspired Inter in Serie A, but they have been very influential in this competition. Bergkamp with 8 goals, equal top scorer in this season's UEFA Cup, alongside Schmidt of Karlsruhe. Salzburg have been involved in suspensions throughout this tournament, 36 cautions in 11 games, and the latest bans affect 2 of their better goal scorers, Pfeifenberger and Stadler. They're out. The good news is that Feisinger, a disciplined marker, has served his suspension. So too has Adi Hutter, a strong midfield player, and their top scorer in the Austrian league, Nikola Jurkovic. He plays tonight, though he's been back in his native Croatia, getting treatment for a strained muscle. Bit touch and go for him. Well, Jim McCluskey from Scotland will not feel out of place in this particular weather. It's very wet, and Inter such strong favourites even before the first leg, because Salzburg have really overturned the odds to get this far. The first Austrian club to reach the UEFA Cup final, and well, though they played 2 weeks ago, Inter, in the classic Italian style, snatched the only goal of the game. So all but 8,000 in a crowd of 80,000. That's the 8,000, of course, the Austrian fans who've been lucky enough to get tickets to come here. The vast majority hoping and indeed expecting Inter to end a wretched season domestically with a major European prize. Well, here's Feisinger. Salzburg have come here pledging to attack, and that's a pretty promising start. Inter finishing in their lowest league position ever, in 13th place in Serie A. And they've had 1 or 2 scares even in this UEFA Cup on their own ground, particularly when Borussia Dortmund seemed to be heading for a sensational turn of events, having been beaten in Germany, but Inter just escaped and have kept on going, rather like Bergkamp tried to do there. No foul, no suggestion of contact, and Jurkovic chasing very fluently, given his injury scare. I watched him closely in the warm-up when the teams came out, and he was talking to the trainer, flexing a damaged thigh. Not at all convincing, really, but he moved well then. And they'll need him to keep on moving. Salzburg have to score. A draw tonight will be enough for Inter. On the ball, Battistini. Now, a member of the old guard here, Bergami. Huta, the number 11, giving it away. The number 11 for Inter, well known to you all, Ruben Sosa. Bergkamp almost seizing a pass and turning towards goal. Salzburg glad that he couldn't do that. Bergami. Orlando's in the Bianchi role, wide on the right tonight. He's only 30, Beppe Bergami, but he seems to have been around forever. Remember, of course, coming up for 12 years ago now, he was in Italy's World Cup winning team in Spain. Sosa, Bergkamp, Nicola Berti, who scored the goal in Austria, in Vienna, of course, because Salzburg Stadium limited to a capacity of around 8,500 by UEFA regulations, so they moved away. Good touch by Sosa, almost coming off there between the three main attacking forces for Inter tonight. Here's Bergkamp. Bergkamp claiming that he was badly treated there by Winkelhofer. Fontelan has a throw and not a free kick. Sosa. Fontelan has done well, couldn't quite lift the cross over Fursthaler. Huta. Trying to get it back from Jurcevic. Typical piece of dogged defending by Bergami. Orlando and Manicone, Vimionk. But Orlando doesn't get very far. It's a lovely night for playing, really. Anyone who's ever kicked a ball knows the advantage of a slippery top. Sometimes helps the touch, certainly helps the sliding tackles. Foul by Berti on Feiersinger. Berti, who's very much back in the news here in Italy with that goal. He's in the Arrigo Sacchi preliminary party for Italy in the World Cup. He's negotiating a new contract. There's a mistake there by Huta, and Sosa's away. That could be a catastrophe. Good stop by Conrad, and it needed to be. To the great relief of Adi Huta, who's still apologising to anyone who wants to see the arm raised. He gave it to, of all people, the dangerous Uruguayan. And Conrad made a significant stop. It was a very good chance for Inter. Just wonder about their mentality tonight. This UEFA competition has been a real lifeline for their morale as they've been sinking in Serie A. Only just 1 point, incredible to think of it. Inter just 1 point clear of relegation. Season domestically over in Italy now. Not so in Austria, where Salzburg are pressing for what would be their first ever Austrian league title. Really have been a revelation this season. Flag is up against Ruben Sosa. 38-year-old Heribert Weber, the sweeper, wearing number 3. His last major international match. He is retiring at the end of the season. Been a wonderful career. He's actually in Austria's 1978 World Cup side in Argentina. That gives you some idea of the length of his career. Good team Austria had in those days with the great Hans Krankel. But they've never had a club inscribe their name on a major European trophy. It would be a big turnaround tonight, but they've come here pretty much up for the occasion. And their 8,000 fans made a terrific impression when they got into the stadium. Many of them standing in the rain for a couple of hours before the teams came out. Fontelan, Bertie. Fontelan naturally left-sided, working that flank, giving Inter a corner. Ruben Sosa will take it. If Inter score, one thing that cannot happen tonight is extra time. Agostini, who's dangerous in the opposing penalty area, goes up well again. Bergamy, hooked away by Leiner, back by Paganini. Well, certainly the Austrians won't be unhappy about the climatic conditions here. Bertie. Oh, and Sosa was coming on the blind side of Furstaller. Whether he knew about him or not, we'll never know. He played the ball safely enough. Here's Marquinhos, the Brazilian. It's a bit of a nervy flick at the ball, though. As recently as last Friday, Salzburg had a splendid 6-0 win over their championship rivals, Austria Vienna. Marquinhos was in marvellous form, getting a couple of goals. His first for Salzburg. He came to the club in January. Jurcevic, tackled by Manicone. It was a strange clearance by Bergamy, but it was effective enough. His international days over now. Bertie. No foul, it's Marquinhos. And here's Peter Artner. It nearly ran for Jurcevic. And there would have been bedlam in the San Siro. That led to a goal. The supporters and indeed the Inter players were waiting for Jim McCluskey to blow his whistle, but he didn't do that. Furstaller. Leiner at the back of Bergkamp. Eigner missing out. Milan well forward. He's certainly got an eye for goal. Strike it well from midfield. He strikes this one, and the goalkeeper's main problem there was handling it cleanly as it bounced in front of him. Sosa was moving in to punish any fumble. Two Dutchmen on the same wavelength here. Young shot, and again Conrad looking impressive in goal. But Bergkamp is bearing down here, and is it going to go in? No! Well, it's terrific acceleration. And defenders were wilting in his wake. Just wonder whether there was a bit of tugging here. He tried to outside the area. And in the end, Weber just had enough. Corner. Battistini. Peter sliding it forward well. Jurcevic. He's a Croatian. Coach, of course, Otto Baric. He's also Croatian as well. So we won't see too much of him tonight. He's still banned from the bench. This is the final game of that 5-match suspension. Marquinhos. Jurcevic twisting and turning and tumbling in the end. Orlando. Aigner, who likes down the left side, he has defensive responsibilities, but he does love to push forward. But he was chasing back then to slide into the tackle on Orlando. Here is Aigner. Sosa should collect this. Liner closest to him. Blocks the attempted cross. Bertie. Dispossessed fairly enough by Winkelhofer. Huta. If he gets within range, he's got a terrific shot. Adi Huta scored sensationally for Austria recently against Scotland. Oh, Bergkamp's onside. No flag, and there's no need for one either. Here in the television commentary positions, I have to say all the Austrian broadcasters have come here wearing flags in colours of Salzburg, and they were waving their hands, trying to get the linesman to wave his flag. Sure that their commentaries are too objective. We'll try and keep it totally neutral for you here on SBS. Marquinhos, Aigner, Jurcevic seemed to be backing into Bergame to have the ball in any case. Frustala, who is not a full-time player, the number 5 for Salzburg. He's a personnel manager in the company owned by the president of Salzburg. It's very much a working appointment too. First season, but it hasn't been so successful, and this is second. Cleared well by Bergame, met well by Aigner. Jim McCluskey giving every indication that he's going to do his best to allow this game to flow. Huta. Fontelan. Bergkamp, who would like you to know that you might have heard about his supposed unhappiness here is not true. He's learnt a lot about life in general, he was telling me a couple of weeks ago. But he does enjoy playing in Italy. Both he and Jonk have won this competition before a couple of years ago with Ajax. Only time in the last 5 years the cup hasn't come, the UEFA Cup that is, to Italy. And of course Ajax just got past an Italian team in that final, Torino. Very close thing. They won it on the away goals rule. So it could easily have been 5 out of 5. But trying to make sure tonight it's 5 out of 6. Orlando. Salzburg rather bogged down in their own half. Manicone, well spotted by Aigner. Salzburg came here yesterday in a plane piloted by none other than Niki Lauda, who of course owns an airline in Austria. Orlando with a throw. Bergkamp. Here's Sosa. To Manicone. There's Artner, who does a lot of good work penalty area to penalty area in Salzburg's midfield. Experienced international player. Paganini. Crowd a bit confused, I think. Not quite sure of Inter's approach. Certainly not sure of their consistency after what's happened this season. Through to Huta. Trip by Battistini on Marquinhos, who nominally is one of two Salzburg forwards, along with Jurcevic, but is really panning out as an advanced midfield man, always prepared to get back into that area when it's required. Nudging it past Battistini, brought down. The free kick wasted though for Salzburg. Sosa made sure that the referee noticed that one. Really luring Forstaller in. Well, Conrad is concerned here with a bit of justification. It's just possible that Ruben Sosa might come up with a shot. Vivianque on the ball at the moment. Sosa having a look at the angles, assessing out where there might be a gap. Here he goes, it's rising and veering wide. He's played his part in Serie A this season, Ruben Sosa, often with a free kick or two along the way. With 16 league goals, which put him in 5th place in the country. Signori of Lazio again at the head of that list with 23. By Firesinger. Bertie, who's such an expressive character. Whether happy or sad, certainly know it. So it's 0-0 here in the second leg of the UEFA Cup final. Inter with 1 goal safely banked in Vienna. Sosa. Manicone trying to keep the pressure on. Fontaine heavily felled by Winkelhofer. He's going to get a talking to. He comes back and apologises. Fontaine, who was signed as a goal-getting player, is finding himself basically on the left-hand side of the defence in this game, a job he has done recently in other matches as well. It's painful. The suggestion in Milan is there's going to be a huge amount of change in the summer. Playing personnel for Inter. Fontaine, I think, is one of those who's indicated that he wants to stay here. Whether he'll get his wish remains to be seen. So Sosa will take the free kick. It's Bertie, comes for Yock. The goalkeeper stays on his line. Almost handball by Winkelhofer, finally cleared by Weber. Walter Zenga was needed, really cleared his lines. There's some talk that this might be his last match for Inter. He is under contract for a couple more years, but there's the coach Giampiero Marini, who will not be in charge next season. He's coming back to take over the youth team here. But Zenga has to read in the papers virtually every day that Gianluca Pagliuca is going to be acquired by Inter, which would make Zenga surplus to requirements. It's one of those watch this space scenarios. Long from Battistini. Well, that's a foul, not by the player who headed the ball, Weber, but by Furchtala. Weber was allowed to head the ball because Furchtala just muscled Bergkamp out of the way. Still raining heavily. San Siro. Still 0-0 in the second leg. Open Sosa again, ignoring the distance. The optimistic hit, but he scored from there before. Arthur can only put it out and hear what the aficionados here thought of that. This is Jurcevic. Very important for Salzburg to be strong in the early stages, but need to press again with Bergkamp. The Austrians could get a 1-0 advantage after 90 minutes. We would then go to extra time, but only if that's the scoreline at the end of regulation time. Artner heads it down. Jurcevic goes down. Battistini was the defender at his back. Sosa, quite a spread to the play with both teams operating with sweepers. Paganin is one of the markers. Marquinhos, with Battistini tidying up as the free man for Inter. And the man they call Methuselah in Austria, Heribert Weber, the 38-year-old, will be 39 next month, doing that job for Salzburg. Here he is actually having to go for the ball with Bergkamp. Knocks it off. Berti, who timed his runs well from deeper positions. That's been one of his trademarks down the years. Didn't quite get there that time. Paganin alongside Marquinhos again. It's Antonio Paganin. His brother Massimo is one of the substitutes for Inter Schneid. Feising. Marquinhos. Has gone through the centre. Jurcevic, of course, is there. They're missing the ball. Weber. It's gone all the way through to Winkelhofer. That's what the sweep is there for. Stop to Jurcevic exploding through the centre. Eigner on a swashbuckling run. Salzburg were very unlucky to lose the first game. They didn't take their chances. They may live to regret it, but they're still very much in the thick of things here. Sosa. Oh, Orlando not quite. It's a good idea. Quick pitch now with the rain on it. A ball just zipping off it beyond the run of Orlando. Sosa is guided back by something from Leo Leiner. For a moment whether it was his arm. Marquinhos trying to get up there alongside Jurcevic. Bayasinger. Now Adi Huta. And that deflected off Jonk, and it's throw to the Austrian club. Austria Casino Salzburg. Casino, the sponsors, which is now incorporated in the official club name. Uter. The whistle had gone, and Inter have conceded a free kick where Salzburg might be able to show what they've been working on in the training ground. They've got the Brazilian Marquinhos to assess the possibilities here. Weber's gone up. What a story it would be if he could score. Artner making a run out towards the ball and getting it. They've created a better angle for themselves, have Salzburg. Fonteland clears, and Bergkamp is on the break here. Bayasinger, the last man back, but Ruben Sosa gets away from him. Back for Bergkamp, and again, the hero for Salzburg is this 29-year-old goalkeeper, Otto Konrad. Bergkamp and Ruben Sosa engineered everything there, but the ball ending up in the back of the net. Fonteland. Remember, all that came from a cleverly worked free kick by Salzburg. Bertie. Oh, nearly back to him from Ruben Sosa. When Marquinhos crossed the ball, the last thing you'd have expected only a few seconds later was Salzburg's goalkeeper performing the heroics, but that's what happened. Aigner. Oh, he's lost out to Orlando, and he was lucky then, the number 6 for the Austrians, to get away with it the first time. He's not cleared it decisively. Fursta. Here's Huta. Tackle on him by Paganini. Marquinhos, is he going to make something for himself here? In the end, he was trying to slip it through to Jurcevic. Typical running by Bergkamp, pass too long for him. Well, there's still a buzz around the ground. Sosa to Bergkamp, and then you expected back in the net. Konrad came flying out. Terrific goalkeeping. There are a couple of Salzburg players in the wars at the moment. Winkelhofer on the far side. And Leiner and Weber flexing muscles as well. They're back on their feet. Just to talk a little bit about Konrad, the goalkeeper, in this injury break. Of course, he had that magnificent, what he described as a dream come true, literally, because he had this dream that there would be a penalty shootout against Eintracht Frankfurt, that he would save a couple and then score the winning penalty himself. That's what happened. So he has been very responsible for Salzburg getting this far, and he's kept them in business with some outstanding work here in the first half at San Siro. Sosa. Come for Berti. Bayasinga saw to that. Huta. Couldn't take it on. Bergkamp. For Berti. Well, there have been a number of nearly occasions for Inter. That's the wearing his heart on his sleeve reaction that Berti I was talking about earlier. He was rightly disappointed with himself then. We're not really sitting back at Inter and playing on the break. Bergkamp and Ruben Sosa are pushing up on the back men. And as I say, the play is quite stretched at times. It's giving it a reasonable open feel to the football. Marquinhos getting it through well to Huta. Oh, he might try a shot. He does! That's very much one from Adi Huta's catalogue. Great try. And Zenga was flying through the air to pour it away and has hurt himself in doing so. But he really can have a crack from long range. And that was a severe stretch, and then he hit the post as he landed. Adi Huta with a shot that was certainly going to find its way into the top corner. Now, I wouldn't want to be disrespectful to Walter Zenga here, but he's a natural showman, and it wouldn't be beyond him to make a real meal of something like this. He's done well for his side. Well, there was a crack there, there's no doubt about it, on the post. But it's not lasting damage. Away by Bergami. Well, Huta, who had the shot, then unable to keep the ball in play. Manicone. Jurcevic a little nippier than Jonk, and then finding a particularly slippery patch in the San Siro pitch. Weber doesn't quite go forward as often these days as in the past, but he's instigated an attack here for Salzburg. Marquinhos. Weber. Huta pulling away to make some space for himself. Marquinhos just inside him. It's a cross that doesn't do anything more than put Inter in possession, and suddenly now they've got to turn back. Marquinhos finding Huta. Can he work it onto the right foot again? He can't. Aigner can though, and that's wide. Aigner was the player fouled twice by Alessandro Bianchi in that 2 yellow cards equals 1 red card incident that has kept Bianchi out of this second leg. Bergami. Now Manicone. Back for Battistini. While it stays this way, it's okay for Inter, but there have been enough scares for them. know that it's not the sort of margin they would want. Surely no foul on Ruben Sosa there. Certainly not in the mind of the referee. A few hopeful cries around the stadium from the Interfaithful. On the game goes. Stala concentrating on the ball. Maybe that angle getting a bit of a wrap around the Uruguayan. Sometimes slow motion can be deceptive. Contact looks more damaging than it does in normal speed. Pushed up. It's the Austrian voices you can hear singing behind the Conrad's goal. They've had a great view, the travelling fans, of the excellence of their goalkeeper in the first half. Marquinhos, Artner, Yahuta. Orlando. Again, Bergkamp's off-the-ball play impressive, so he gives himself time to control, but Inter hadn't gone on from that, and there's going to be a yellow card here for Orlando. Aigner, who does like to drive forward from midfield, was doing just that. Weber is there, and Marquinhos as well. He's moving off to the left. Weber decides that Inter haven't reacted, so he can play the ball to him. It's a shame about the cross. Fontelan, offside, Ruben Sosa. Oh, a terrible mistake by Weber, and again, oh, they are riding their luck. Ruben Sosa's almost had as many passes from opponents as he's had from his teammates. But he just, even on that trusty left foot, can't hit the bullseye. Huta turning well against Manicone, and here's Winkelhofer coming down the right-hand side. Jurcevic, knowing I think that he couldn't reach the cross. Zenga's annoyed because he's of the opinion that the Croatian is doing a bit of acting here, and there's no need for Inter to take the refereeing of the game into their own hands. Jurcevic there. Battistini was doing his bit to start with, but not really enough to send the number 7 down. Battistini. Pedigree of success in these competitions for Austrian clubs. Only 2 have ever reached a European final. They both lost, Austria Vienna to Anderlecht and Rapid Vienna to Everton. One in the 70s, one in the 80s. Both in the Cup Winners' Cup. So Salzburg trying to extend the frontiers for the Austrian game. And making sure here in the first half, not without an alarm or two, that we are really seeing a contest. It was, I suppose, touch and go if Inter were to get a flying start. There'd be no way back for Salzburg. That hasn't happened, thanks largely to this fella here. And it's his night, perhaps, because that was a miss kick and it went straight to Aigner. Now he's got to try again. It's Sosa, and look at that. Pushed up. Jurcevic beaten to it by Bergami. Who says if Salzburg win, he'll have his hair cut. First half drawing to a close. Battistini. Bergami. Well, Liner could have knocked that out of play. He allowed Ruben Sosa to get the ball to Orlando. Berti. That's Bergkamp, whose quiet air is sometimes misinterpreted as a lack of interest. Fontolan. Bergami. Plenty of space in these areas. It's further forward that it's more congested. Battistini. Manicone. Be a great boost for Inter if they could get a goal in the time that remains before half-time. Now Firesinger and Fontolan square up. And it really seems to be a storm in a teacup. Jim McCluskey gives a yellow card to both players. And Fontolan was rushing away. I'm sure it was aimed for him, even though certainly Firesinger's been punished, and I'm pretty sure Fontolan as well. It seemed entirely unnecessary. Fontolan now back with Marquinhos. Aigner getting the better of Orlando, has been booked as well. Let's be careful with his tackling, and he was. And then Aigner caught Manicone, and Inter get the free kick. A rather bad-tempered end to the first half. Orlando did well. Look forward to this time his challenges now. He played the ball, and then Manicone subsequently went down. Free kick taken by Wim Jonk. Looking for Berti. Winkelhofer. Well into stoppage time. Sosa. Well, it's never as easy as it might appear when one team knows that a draw is good enough to gain the prize that they're seeking. It's not exactly Inter being caught in two minds, but that might happen if it stays this way deep into the second half. And there is the half-time whistle. Well, it's still a very interesting scenario here at San Siro. The only goal of this UEFA Cup final came just over 2 weeks ago by Nicola Berti for Inter, and Inter, although they've had opportunities here, the better opportunities at the half, they haven't been able to add to that because Otto Conrad has been in splendid form in the Salzburg goal. There's been a little edge to proceedings as well. Look at this again between Fontelan and the fiery Firesinger. But Salzburg have played their part with Hooter's terrific shot, which Zenga kept out to some discomfort to himself. At half-time in the second leg of the UEFA Cup final, 0-0 here, still 1-0 to Inter overall. Back to San Siro, where you join 80,000 fans who are watching and wondering how this will all finish tonight. Still possibilities for the underdogs from Austria. One goal from them without reply would take us into extra time. Just in case you're concerned that the fog might have come down during the half-time interval, I can reassure you that it's just the usual and very colourful reaction from supporters in these parts, with the flares and the firecrackers. And the visibility on this very wet night starting to clear as Jim McCluskey prepares to get the second half underway. Whatever happens to Salzburg, they have really been the surprise package. A wonderful recovery in the third round when they were 2-0 down from the first leg against Sporting Lisbon. It was 0-0 in the home game at half-time. They then got the 3 goals they required to see off the Portuguese club. And then Eintracht and Karlsruhe, 2 German victims. Most unusual that, where traditionally the Austrian sides have rather succumbed to those from their neighbouring country. But they start the second half with plenty of optimism. Inter have had plenty of humiliations this season, and surely this would be the ultimate one if they don't collect the cup at the end of this evening. That would perhaps break the patience of those supporters who found it very hard to cope with what's been happening here with Milan in the stadium. Fontelan. Corner to Inter. Both Bergami and Battistini have made their way forward, as they usually do. Fontelan is very good in the air himself. And it's knocked away from the head of Battistini. Orlando. Fontelan trying to guide it wide for either Bergkamp or Sosa. Fell rather between the 2 stools, and all Inter get is this throw back in their own half. The longer it stays at 0-0, maybe the edgier Inter will become. Zenga taking his time. Bergami. direct route into. And now Nicola Berti can't control it at a crucial moment. And there has been a mounting number of those opportunities in the penalty area to get an end product. They've certainly had the greater share of possession, you feel, Inter. Here, well, it was a pretty straightforward ball to take with a first touch. The first touch there was not up to scratch from Berti. But here's Sosa. Ruben Sosa has put it wide. Well, the only consolation in these circumstances is that if he keeps getting in, one will surely end up in the back of Conrad's net. This time not even the goalkeeper was required. He had to wait for the ball to get there. That didn't make it any easier, but even so, any contact or foul was outside the area, but the referee right to let Ruben Sosa go on and have the chance. Berti nipping in. Bergamy over the top of liner, is it? Not quite. Jonk. Sosa, slipping liner. Bergkamp wanting a cross, but it was way, way beyond his reach. Inter beat Rapid Bucharest in the first round, then Apollon from Limassol. Norwich City, the English club in Europe for the first time, gave them a few problems, but it was 1-0 to Inter, home and away. And then that strange saga with Borussia Dortmund in the quarter-final, when Inter played as well as they have done in the tournament, to win 3-1 in Germany, and then lost 2-1 at home just to slip through. Cagliari, they were beaten in Sardinia in the first leg, but turned it round with a sumptuous performance here in the second leg. They're struggling to recapture that style at the moment. But here's Ruben Sosa. Conrad heads it, but only to Bergkamp. Can't snare it in straight away. Ruben Sosa still chasing. Goal kick. Well, is this going to be a repeat of the first leg when the home team had the chances and didn't take any of them? And the away team did get the goal. Could be. Jurcevic. Battistini to Sosa, too much on the header beyond Bergkamp. Winkelhoff. Be quite a double for Nicola Berti if it stays this way. He got the decisive goal when Inter won the UEFA Cup 3 years ago against Roma in an all-Italian final. Fire Senga. Senga has to go down to his right-hand side. Fire Senga, as if responding or on some half-time initiative from the coaching staff, not from Otto Baric himself, he's banned from the dressing room, but to be more purposeful, to try and get some shots in. Winkelhofer. Oh! Well, that was Peter Artner getting his shot in, and again Senga. It's been a night, really, of superb goalkeeping. Winkelhofer did well. It came back here nicely from Marquinhos, teed up for Artner. There was Senga going full length to the other side. Marquinhos will take the corner. Inter pushing out. Aigner going on, following in, played the ball. Marquinhos, that's too long. Well, the whistling might be for the referee for not giving a foul, but I think we saw, perhaps better than supporters on the other side of the ground, that although it was a robust challenge and in danger of causing damage, it was the ball that was met by Aigner. The whistling could also, of course, be some reaction to the worry that the Inter fans are feeling. Suddenly Zenga, who made that terrific save in the first half from Adi Huta, has now had to make 2 more. Nil-nil in this match. 1 goal for Inter in Austria, still giving them the balance of power. Confirmation the crowd indeed is just over 80,000 by some 300. Some, maybe the majority, coming expecting a formality. It's certainly not that. Here comes Salzburg again. Singer. Montolan can't do anything. Singer gets a corner. And Battistini keeping his arms ostentatiously down by his side. Artner will take the corner. More work for the goalkeeper from Liner this time. Well, it's as if playing towards their own supporters has been a real shot in the arm for Salzburg. They could have conceded a couple of goals at the start of this second half. They could have scored a couple now. Just sheer weight of numbers unsettling the marking at that corner. Leo Liner unmarked. This is as good a spell as we've had in the match, which has always been absorbing. And they've got bags of belief. So too have the players in white here. Jurcevic. Huta. Liner. A stumble there by Paganini. He wasn't actually going to the ball. It was cleared by Battistini. Oh, there's a misjudgment by Kurstaller. And Jonk with Sosa up with him. And the frustration turning to real anger in certain sections of the ground that Inter are not making a better fist of this. Marquinhos. Winkelhofer could be offside here. Marquinhos shoots! Oh, one post! I do not believe it! An amazing moment in this game. There was a worry as to whether Winkelhofer down the right might have been offside. Marquinhos ignored him. Here he is now, though. Inter hanging on to their advantage here by the skin of the teeth, by the paint on the 2 goalposts. Well, this is admirable play from the Austrians, but Marquinhos, and even when you see it again, as you will here, it's hard to comprehend. How often does this happen? Very rarely indeed. Both posts. And it is still an uphill struggle for Salzburg, but my word, they're trying to level out the ground. Bergkamp. A bit of breathing space for Inter. Just looking at that replay again, I suspect that Zenga might have just got his fingertips to the shot to make the difference, to turn it on to the first post. Marquinhos flick, Jurcevic gets the better of Battistini. He hasn't got any support at all, as if Salzburg just had to put their hands collectively on their hips and get some air back into their lungs. Such is the effort of chasing the situation here. The pursuing is promising, but they haven't caught up yet. Battistini. Bergami. Aiming for Ruben Sosa, not finding it. Here's Bergkamp, who could change things in a twinkle, and was threatening to do that just then. Even if Inter do score, of course, Salzburg would still need the two that they need at this moment for outright victory. But of course, then they would have to do it within the 90-minute period. There could be no extra time, as we said earlier. Bergkamp. Liner got a foot in it, ran off Artner, and then Bergkamp blocks it away for a goal kick. Well, there are those who believe that all the finals of European competition should be played as a one-off game on a neutral ground, but I must say the fascination of two-legged football, or games played over two legs, should I say, is very appealing at times, and this is one of those times. Half an hour to go, unless extra time is required. Free kick to Inter. To be taken here by Sosa. Both Battistini and Bergami have stayed back this time. Trying to find Fontelan. And that's an unnecessary foul, really, in those circumstances by Winkelhofer. Fontelan wasn't going anywhere. Berti. Bergkamp! Oh, the goalkeeper fumbles. He's got such a high level of technique, Dennis Bergkamp, that there was no surprise that the volley, which was by no means easy, was on target. And Conrad, relieved it came his way. Almost making a mess of it. Inter slowing the pace down whenever they can, trading on the position that they still hold. Salzburg, town in Austria, famous of course for the Mozart connections, famous for its international music festival, not really famous for its football. Sosa. Jonk. Wim Jonk. And Inter now will feel that they have one hand on the UEFA Cup. And the Austrian players stand and look at each other. So at last the chance is taken. Sosa with Jonk to his left. Just got the run of it against Liner, and that was delightfully done as the goalkeeper came out to lift it over him. And Jonk, who certainly chipped in with his goals along this UEFA Cup road, has done it again in the final, in the second leg here, at a very crucial time. And he's done it very, very neatly indeed. So the target there as Artner crosses is quite clear. We cannot have extra time now because of this moment from Wim Jonk. And in less than half an hour, Salzburg have to score twice. If they do, they would win. As long as Inter, of course, don't score again. Zenga. Leo Liner lunged and didn't get there. And this time Conrad, who's been a splendid last line of defence, just couldn't keep the defending going. But now Salzburg have a corner. Taken by Marquinhos. Aigner. What's he going to do here? And it's just over the top from Weber. Ball coming all the way from the corner. Aigner beat Bergkamp. And as he fired it across, Weber was diving in. And that was the incident here that's led to stoppage. Palestini's okay, and Inter are feeling a lot healthier as well. Goal coming after 62 minutes from Wim Jonk. There's some shirt pulling there by Aigner. Jim McCluskey takes a pretty benevolent view of it. Well, it's a physical league that he referees in Scotland. Artner. Well, it may well be that Salzburg have captured your hearts with their enterprise here, but it's going to be hard for them to capture what they really want, a piece of European silverware which would set a new standard for Austrian clubs. But it's not impossible. To that end, there is going to be a change. Ammerhauser, the 19-year-old forward, who's played his part in the UEFA Cup run, is going to come on. Looks as though they're going to take Winkelhofer off. This is all going on out of your picture at the moment. Monteland is the latest in the line of Inter players in need of treatment. Ammerhauser comes on bearing instructions, as well as his own will to win. Just passes them round. Milan heading towards the touchline and maybe out of the game, which gives the opportunity for another of the old guard to come on. A man who's falling with a delayed reaction. He's certainly unclear of where he is at the moment. And it's Riccardo Ferri, an archetypal Italian defender. Another member of the side that won the UEFA Cup 3 years ago, along with Zenga, Paganin, Bergami, of course, Battistini, Berti. So advantages in terms of experience going into this final. It's a risky back pass, and Riccardo Ferri, who played most of his career before the laws were changed in that respect, forgetting the change, not been regularly involved this season. It was a risky one. Zenga didn't panic, but here's Zenga. They haven't got the ball away. Driven back by Aigner, who seems to have been switched to the right-hand side a little more now. There for Ruben Sosa to flick the ball on to. Huta, Marquinhos. Maybe it wasn't to be when he hit both posts. Sometimes players do sense that when they come as close and the ball doesn't go in. One of those nights, a night that Salzburg can certainly be proud of, whatever happens from now on. And Davide Fontolan being taken around the stretcher here. Nearly another for Berti. Aigner easily leaving Sosa. It's Biasinger rather. Marquinhos. Huta. This is Ammerhauser. Can't find the cross. Ruben Sosa, who prefers to do his running towards the goal, he's attacking. Bergkamp. Jonker got through the centre again, unintended. They've got to take extra risks now, of course, Salzburg. Marquinhos. It's got Ammerhauser in the penalty area, and Jurcevic as well. Fire Zenga. Zenga kicks it away this time. Well, Zenga has got busier and busier as the night has worn on. And by still keeping his goal intact, he's played a major part. If it is his final game for Inter, at this stage, it's one he can be very proud of. Ferri. Paganin. Saved, Walter Zenga. Marquinhos. Ammerhauser wanted to take the throw quickly. Jurcevic very much on his wavelength. And he's forced a corner. And back there, feeling that maybe There was a handball on the cross. It's going to be another substitution for Salzburg. Mikhail Steiner waiting to be spotted. Let's have a look at this. Well, the hand was down there. It couldn't be intentional. We haven't got a ball at the moment. That's what the delay's about. The player who's come off is Artner. So both the substitutes on now. It's a difficult corner for Zenga to deal with. A lot of whip on it. Goalkeeper in danger of coming out too far. The ball coming in behind him. But in the circumstances, well worth a dip. Well, Inter looking more and more as though they are going to make something substantial from what has been a sticky season for them. It won't alter the fact that there will be big changes here for next season. Orlando, in the end, getting his free kick. And Berti! Salzburg nearly paying a heavy price for arguing then and not watching what was going on. Quick thinking, as it was indeed when Berti scored. Still 1-0 here, 2-0 on aggregate to Internazionale of Milan. Jurcevic. That's another save with the foot, very similar to the other one. This was Liner this time. Now Steiner. And it breaks for Young. Finding a way out on the right to Orlando. The advantage played here by Jim McCluskey. There was a foul, the ball rolled on for Sosa. Well, one of those nights, I've been saying, more and more it looks that way for Austria Salzburg. And Walter Zenga, if he's leaving Inter, he's leaving in inspired form. Berti. No one near him, he just couldn't locate the ball at the crucial moment. Zenga now going to judge the bounce. It's all part of the goalkeeper's art these days. What you have seen here, what a strong side Salzburg have become back in the mid-80s. They seem to be down and out as a club. They had a gate for one game of just over 400. That really was the lowest point. Hans Krankel then played a part in reactivating football. They would have merged with another club in the town had that been able to go through. Happily it was stopped, and some with an injection of money, which always plays a crucial part. Salzburg have gone from strength to strength. Many of these players will be in the Austrian side for next week's international against Poland. But it looks as though they're going to go into that as losers, and Inter are going to have their ribbons on the UEFA Cup. But it's going to be defeat with honour for Austria Salzburg. That could hardly have been construed as a back pass, but Conrad was taking no chances. Header by Ferry. Berti. He's got Bergkamp to the right, Sosa to the left. Here's Jonk. Bergkamp. Quite deep enough to find Berti's head. Paganin trying to get in on the act. Bergkamp. Rochdale leading into him, but according to the referee, Bergkamp was the first culprit. Rochdale had to get back behind his desk. His job as the personnel manager. There you are. There's the referee acting as an extra man for Inter. Another indication that Salzburg are going to come second here. Steiner. Aigner. Steiner. Can't do that. That was a cynical shove on Paganin, and the substitute gets a yellow card, saying that he was impeded first of all. But it was unnecessarily petulant, the reaction. It ends sportingly enough. Steiner realising the error of his ways. A yellow card just to help him do that. Well, will it be a Milan double in Europe this season? Inter almost home and dry here, if I can use that expression on such a wet night. And maybe more to cheer. Here's Ruben Sosa, and still offside against Berti. And next Wednesday on SBS, it'll be the Champions Cup we'll be looking at. Milan and Barcelona, a mouth-watering prospect from the Olympic Stadium in Athens. First of the trio of European pieces of silverware going to Arsenal, when the Italians were the losers, of course, in the shape of Parma in Copenhagen last Wednesday. Paganin, Ferry, but here's Liner. They are lining up in the centre. They'll stay there for a corner. These Salzburg players. Aigner leaving it to Steiner. Oh, Liner. Cimic is in there. And Steiner hoists it back in. Zenga has to come and claim. He's always been a man to revel in the limelight, but to get into the limelight you have to be gifted, and he's a very gifted goalkeeper. Jonk. throw given to Inter. And significantly now there is pretty much silence from the Austrian end of the ground. And the 72,000 Inter fans are perhaps just drawing breath, ready for the celebration of the presentation. Battistini. Inter won the Champions Cup in '64 and in '65. And were twice runners-up in that competition, '67 and '72. UEFA Cup winners 3 years ago. A trophy they know, and they're going to surely see again very shortly. But it's been a very close-run thing. Not just tonight, but in the first leg as well. It never has been the old adage of putting the ball in the back of the net being truer. Inter have done that. Salzburg haven't. Marquinhos, Huta. Here's Jurcevic, came through to him. A sliding challenge by Manicone. Orlando's done well blocking off the approach down his side of the pitch. Just like the player who's replaced tonight, Bianchi. He's done for several years for Inter. But what will the Inter side look like at the start of next season? I would venture to suggest very different from this one. Berti. Bergkamp. It's not really been a major influence on the match. Didn't play in the second leg 2 years ago for Ajax. If memory serves me right, he was ill. Jonk was out there just as he has been significantly with the only goal of his second leg. Battistini, or Bergkamp might emerge from the shadows here, and still might. Still Bergkamp. Oh, how did that not reach Nicola Berti by the far post? Away by Huta. But the snap has gone out of Salzburg now, and it's understandable. They've put so much in and had nothing to show for it. The flag goes up to the surprise of Inter. I don't think it was against Bergkamp. Maybe he was coming back from an offside position. A free kick has been taken from this side. Manicone. Determined play by Orlando. You might recall was the first player booked in the evening, but it certainly hasn't taken the edge off his commitment. Hammerhauser, the teenager, earning Salzburg a corner. Now a goal here, and we could still have a nail-biting finish. A real sting in the tail, but it needs to come soon for Salzburg. Just get the feeling that it isn't going to come at all. Berti. Jonk. Ferry. Sosa buying into a bit of time, and time very much on their side. Jurcevic rather running into Ferry. Behind him was Feiersinger. He's forced on from midfield whenever he's been able to do so. Metaphorically, the Inter fans are putting their party gear on now. Liner, Feiersinger outside him. Liner's shots. It's an interesting one, but didn't get too far in the end. Marquinhos rolls here for Feiersinger. Has to be better to bewilder Zenga in this form with a cross. Weariness setting in now. Inter have been given a real run for their money in this UEFA Cup final by the underdogs, but the money and the trophy is going to be theirs. Photographers getting into position. And just to be absolutely sure, in the Italian way of things, there's going to be a tactical substitution right at the last here. Initially the number 11 went up, but they changed it to number 10, and it's Dennis Bergkamp who comes off early to be replaced by the younger of the two Paganins, Massimo. So they're on the pitch together in a European final. Great thrill for the Paganin family. Massimo Paganin's actually on loan here from Brescia. Conrad rather going through the motions, herring to get the ball to restart the game. Orlando. Ruben Sosa, here's Paganin, didn't get there, Bertie does! Another goal would be unfair on the Austrians, I have to say that. And ball by Marquinhos. We're just waiting now for the final whistle. Well, it has been Jekyll and Hyde season for Inter. On the verge of relegation in the league. But here they are, closing in on the UEFA Cup. And the finishing line is very much in sight. They'll breast the tape in a moment or two. Feiersinger's header. Aigner. But if you didn't know too much about some of these Austrian players, you'll remember their commitment, their challenge here, when the odds seem stacked against them, to make a match of it. But Inter have won the UEFA Cup thanks to a goal in the first half of the first leg and one here 17 minutes into the second half of the second leg. Vivian got it, but around that Walter Zenga gave a masterful display. Once Italy's #1 goalkeeper for many years too, and looking as though the years have treated him kindly here. 34 years old, but in splendid form. And the fact that he's being featured tells you something about how close it was. Salzburg wanted to come here and take the game to Inter, and manfully they tried. We shouldn't forget that Inter, with Sosa and Bergkamp at times running free, some defensive errors from Salzburg in the first half, that they could have sealed it up early on, but they didn't. And Salzburg kept on trying, never until really the last few minutes lost the feeling that it might just happen for them. But when the ball hit both of Senga's posts from the Brazilian Marquinhos, I think they realised that it just wasn't to be. And the expected winners have materialised here. The scoreline shows that it was a narrow thing, and it should be remembered as that. The Inter players gathering in the centre circle, rightfully proud of what they've done in this competition. It wipes away from the immediate memory a series of awful performances in Serie A. But the Salzburg players getting an ovation here from the Austrian fans, but also I think the Inter fans will recognise the part that they've played in making this a match tonight and not a procession. Ruben Sosa has had 2 good years here personally, but we wonder what the future holds for him. He'll certainly be in demand if Inter don't want to keep him. He is under contract for another season. Well, we await now the moment that is the ultimate reward for all the effort that's gone in. Inter past Rapid Bucharest, Apollon Limassol, Norwich City, Borussia Dortmund, Cagliari in an all-Italian semi-final. And now successful against Salzburg, the surprise package from Austria. But they won't be a surprise anymore, will they? They've spread the word around Europe, and they may well be in the Champions Cup next season. You would wish them well. But the praise here, in the end, is for Inter. Beppe Bergami, who's done so much down the years at this club, receives the trophy from Lennart Johansson. And Walter Zenga, you can say the same about him, and especially tonight, a terrific performance from the veteran goalkeeper, Ruben Sosa. And down the line it will go. It's the moments here that winners treasure. They happen all too fleetingly. But in the era of videotapes, all these players will be able to treasure images of this for the rest of their lives. Dennis Bergkamp now can turn his thoughts to the World Cup with Holland, and Wim Jonk as well, who's shown what a goal-scoring eye he has from midfield again here.